Good morning from Northwest Alabama, guys. It's about 80 degrees here and spring is sprung. That's my phlox in the front yard and one of my front door planters, some rogue grape hyacinth. And this one came from my Dollar Tree packet of seeds last year, a perennial mix. I think it's cornflower. That's what my plant identifier says. Do you guys know what it is? I'm really looking forward to big blooms from this new peony. And then, of course, the dandelions are sprouting up all over. I've been getting kind of nervous about these dogwoods I put in on the south side of the property. We planted 5 last fall, and then this spring we moved them again. But it looks like those buds are swelling, and hopefully they'll be starting to grow anytime. There's the 5. And then beside it to the right along the field, the drainage ditch that I dug to keep the rains, the heavy, heavy rains, from washing out all of that new mulch we put down. And here's the knockout roses that we've been trying to rehab the last couple of years. I take a ton off of this thing every year to try to get it back into shape. I've still got a lot of work to do. I'm afraid to cut it down too much more. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll kill it, but I've got time. We'll just take our time kind of pruning and getting it back into shape. It still needs a ton of pruning though, guys. This is just the view up the driveway. Straight ahead is a bulb cypress that is just starting to produce some leaves. Couple sugar maples or white maples, and then the big one is the pecan tree on the left. And look at this good sized branch that came down. It must come down on Sunday. We had a storm blow through. And this white maple is definitely seen better days, but it's hanging in there. The crabapple blooms are about gone. About 13 inches of rain over the last 2.5 weeks took care of those. Here's the planter we cut back and cleaned up last week and remulched. Actually, we haven't cut the boxwoods back here yet, but those will get a haircut pretty quick. We added some rocks to help with some drainage issues coming off the roof. And I've got some flowers down in the basement I'm starting that will go in the front pots out here. The planter on the south side of the front door, we did add some more rocks. We still need to do a little bit more over there to keep that erosion from happening. Those are what I think are the cornflowers that need to be kind of grouped and moved toward the back of the planter at some point. And I will split them to go on the other side too. But all in all, look at that phlox. It's so pretty. Oh, and I just added 2 of these. I think they're lemon coral sedums. They're so pretty. I think they'll be really pretty up against the purple phlox. Oh, and I added this viburnum, actually one on each side, and that's still not broke dormancy. I hope it will. Those white flowers would be real pretty up against the brick. Here's a look at our privet hedge that we put in to help with the herbicide drip from that field off to the right. Most of these, in fact, let's say 80% of these privets are coming along. Those were bare root privets, and we're getting some growth and leaves on most of them. There's 11 so far that are kind of like this. The buds don't seem to be, maybe they're swelling just a little bit, so maybe they'll all come out of dormancy okay. But we're just going to do a wait and see on that. And eventually, if we need to kind of tighten up the row, we'll move some plants if we need to. But let me show you this. That's my lilac we planted right when we moved in. That's looking pretty good if we can get the herbicide drift to skip it this year. Just a quick tour around the compost area. The finished compost I've sifted and it's in buckets waiting to go on the garden beds. This is back behind the firewood that we cleaned out and burned a bunch of debris from a cedar we took down a couple years ago. This is the sage the previous owners planted and my mint for mojitos. Come on, summer. This is also a plant the previous owners put in that I didn't realize for years was actually a lilac because it just never bloomed. And here's some of our blossoms, not a whole lot, but some of the blossoms that are just starting to smell wonderful. And the Rose of Sharon, it's got a while to go before it sets all its leaves and gets some pretty blossoms. And I'm trying some potatoes in the ground. I've got some russets and red Pontiac, I believe, in these little mounds here. And then over to the left of that are I'm going to do some better succession planting of lettuces. It's leaf lettuce and bib lettuce, and there is a cabbage down there in the middle of the row. Over here, we've got our lilacs. We've got 3 plants that look like it will be producing this year. The one on the right we just looked at is the one that always disappoints me, but who knows? Maybe this year we'll get lucky. The pollinators are certainly doing their job. On the main part of the bed, we've been doing some work. Rod has helped me put these 2 by 6 by 12s up around the perimeter of the part of the garden that's really sloped. Where the tarp is and where the cardboard is where it's the worst. So we're making some 30-inch raised beds, 12 feet long there. We'll have 2 beds once we're finished, and then the rest will be in ground. How did my citrus trees overwinter? Well, the improved Meyer lemon on the right looks pretty good, but this poor lime tree on the left, it lost most of its leaves. I didn't get it covered up one night. It got below 40, and that was the result. On this particular stem I'm holding up at the end, there's some leaves, and then there's a group of leaves in the back of the plant. But boy, it sure pointed out how illy formed that tree is. So, not sure what's going to happen with the lime tree. This is the section we had our herbs in last year. That's a sun gold tomato, some onions, and some radishes, and the parsley overwintered there. We'll be adding dill and some basil coming up. Over on the lettuce table, I'm hardening off a bib lettuce and a cabbage plant. And then the little containers have some salad lettuce greens type mix in them right now. And around the corner, our rain barrel project is complete and those are set up. Here's our rustic wattle fence. That is all complete and I just absolutely love it. Over in the corner, we have our grape arbor, and to the right of it, the cardboard that's going down is going to be where the apple and the peach trees go pretty soon. I'm real happy with how this is turning out, and even more happy that the grapes broke dormancy. I was starting to worry that they hadn't survived the transplanting over from the side of the house over here. But that's how the grapes are looking right now. I've got those tied up. Here's how some of the strawberries are. That one has blooms already. Raspberries are looking great. Got those all tied up and they're kind of just, I don't know how to tie them up to be honest. I just did them to keep them out of the way. The grape on the other end. And then as I pan up this support here, this is a sculpture from my friend Hayden Larson. I'll put his link in the comments area. And over in the corner, our little elderberry survived quite nicely. This is a mother of pearl rose. It's a memorial to my mom. I forgot to show you coming back from the citrus plants that these are the rain barrels all set up. And they're actually 2.5 of them are full right now. But most importantly, down in the basement, this is how things are looking. I have an overabundance of tomatoes. These are Romas and 3 different kinds of slicers that have all come up. They're doing quite well. I just transplanted them into bigger pots. They were starting to yellow, and I was pretty sure I wasn't overwatering them. And sure enough, they were quite overgrown in the little, what, 2.5, 3-inch cups they were in. These are some more of them. I just repotted this morning and a pepper there on the end. And then I'm doing in some new start trays some flowers. These are salvias that I'll put in the front planters and around the dogwoods. Then just some more flowers, alyssium and nasturtiums to the back. There were some peppers there too. I'm not even sure what all these are, but I've been doing quite a few flower starts. So down below, that's marigold. And it looks like a cabbage, but it's actually a dahlia on the right. This is called Snow in Flower, little white flowers in the new starts in the center there. But guys, this is what is really getting me excited. There's snow peas coming up along the back fence where the netting is, and I just can't wait to get these new garden beds put to use. And fingers crossed, we'll have a better year, a more abundant year than last year, which you'll notice the change of the channel name, Abundance Garden from Famished Farm. Anyway, this is Jackie. Thanks for watching.